Okay. Welcome, welcome, welcome. What does it cost? What does it cost? Money is a lesser talked about subject in our society. Often we treat it like it's taboo or impolite dinner conversation. This leads to ignorance about money instead of empowerment. This leads to people feeling judged and insecure instead of feeling like I'm safe to ask questions to become more knowledgeable, right? So, talking candidly about money opens up our awareness, and it's okay if there's things that you don't know about money. In this lecture, we're going to take a look at what it costs for you to work for yourself. We're going to help you develop an understanding of your basic finances and things you need to know, and help you create a money management system that's going to support your goals. Okay? So, if you're wondering how much money you're going to need to make it, the answer lies within your personal and business expenses collectively, but it really starts with your personal expenses. You're going to need to take a look at your life. Do you have a partner? Do they understand what you're asking them to support you in doing? Do they really understand that, this industry has slow times and busy times, and money isn't always going to flow consistently? Sometimes people who have only worked in a 9 to 5 world have difficulty understanding how different money doesn't come every 2 weeks like it does in that 9 to 5 world. So make sure you have a very candid conversation with your partner about what this could look like. Okay. Are you a single parent? Maybe the thought of being able to be home more and more present in your child's life is what's motivating you to make this journey. Maybe it's saving money on childcare. All of those are very good reasons, but you are going to have to, have a plan for childcare depending on your salon or work setup. Do you have a partner and children, a mortgage, maybe established responsibilities that you're going to have to distribute the weight that you would normally bear, and make sure that all the bases are still getting covered while you make this transition into working for yourself, okay? So, whichever of these scenarios looks most like your life, the first thing that you are going to have to do is sit down and calculate how much the life you're already living today, right now, is costing you, okay? You need to know how much this life is costing you, okay? That's step number one. Step number two is to ask yourself if the life that you're living today is the life that you want to live. And you need to make sure you answer honestly, because there's nothing wrong with saying that, no, the life I'm living today is cool, but I want more. I want to purchase a house. I want to save for my children's college. I want to do these things. There's nothing wrong with that. If where you're at is where you're cool with being for the next 20 years, be honest with yourself about that, okay? And then the final step, step number three, is make adjustments to spending habits by setting small, sustainable goals, right? So take a look at where you're at. Is this where you want to be? Set some goals. And then one foot in front of the other, one step at a time, you smash those goals, okay? So there's going to be 5 main things that are going to directly affect the financial success of your business. They are the following: cash flow, building clientele, retaining those new clients, your availability to work and take clients, and also your personal expenses, so your lifestyle. And we're going to get into what lifestyle looks like and make sure that we're keeping business expenses and personal expenses separate. Okay, let's talk a little bit about cash flow. Cash flow is the amount of money coming into your business's revenue, so the amount of money that you make doing your services and selling retail, things like that, as well as the amount of money going out for expenses. Okay, so it's literally like a circle, it is a flow. It's money coming in and money going out, which is going to be always happening. Okay, understand positive cash flow is when you have more money coming in than going out, which is what we want. And negative cash flow is, of course, the opposite, which we do not want. And that is when you have more money going out than coming in. Okay. As an independent contractor, your revenue must cover both business expenses and personal expenses. Okay. This is why you have to consider both when setting your income goals so that you make sure you can feed yourself and your business. Okay. Building a sustainable clientele begins with your why, right? Speak your message and the right who's will be attracted to it and they'll find you. The key to keeping those new who's coming back is staying true to your why and being consistent. People like consistency. It makes them feel safe. Building relationships with your clients, which is what you're doing, you want to build these relationships on kept promises, i.e., consistently valuable experiences on the client's end, right? They need to come to you for more than just a haircut. They need to value you, right? This is how you build a hearty and loyal clientele. The flexibility in your hours, the time that you're actually available to work is going to directly impact your cash flow. It's difficult to build a clientele and make money when and if you aren't available when the clients are. When you're creating your work schedule, keep in mind the needs of your clients. Yes, you get the freedom to make your own schedule. However, you have to be available when the money is knocking. If you're not available when clients need you, they're going to find somebody else. End of discussion. And so you need to, yes, build a schedule that's going to work for your home life and support you there, but you also need to weigh that with when are the clients wanting to come in. Okay, and keeping that consistent for them. If they know that they can always come see you Wednesday at 10 o'clock, you're going to always have a Wednesday at 10 o'clock. If you're constantly fluctuating and changing your schedule and people don't know when they're going to be able to book with you, it makes people who like to plan ahead frustrated because they can't plan ahead and make sure that they're going to be able to get in for a haircut with you. So having a consistent schedule is going to be important, and also making sure that that schedule is catering to the needs of your clients. Okay. Nobody likes this word, right? Budget. But budget isn't a big bad B word, evaluating where you're spending your money and then deciding from there what will continue and what must change. That's the beginning of a budget, right? Just taking an honest look at what you are already presently doing with your money. That's the very beginning of a budget. Just realizing that, I need to take a peek and see where I might be just wasting money. And from there, decide, okay, do I really need this subscription? Do I really need that subscription? Do I really need to be eating out as much as I am? All of those things you can take a good long look at if you just print out your last 3 months of bank statements and go through and put each expenditure in a category like household, food, car, savings, etc. You can categorize it however you want. But once you do that, now you have a budget, right? Maybe it's back budgeting. It's looking back at what you already did. But now you have all those expenditures in a category. And so you can say, okay, for food, groceries, eating out, everything, I'm going to spend $100 a month because I spend roughly 75, but maybe I want to go somewhere fancy or whatever, so I want to have a little bit of cushion with my play money, right? So you can begin to build your budget around what you're already doing. That way it won't feel so restrictive. Now, if you jump into budgeting like, okay, I'm not going to look at anything. I'm just going to say, I'm going to live on this much money. You're setting yourself up for failure. Because you don't know what your habits already are, right? That is like a train wreck. It's just gonna crash because you haven't taken the time to examine yourself and see and plan what needs to change versus what can stay the same. What if you under project your budget and now you don't have enough money to cover all of your expenses? That's just as frustrating. You feel like you failed. Will you set yourself up for that? Take the time to look back at the last 3 months of your bank statements and see what your expenditures are. You know, if you really are a frugal person and you don't spend money daily like a lot of people do, then you're not going to have a problem going and doing this. If you are somebody who is at Starbucks 2 or 3 times a day, and then I swing by McDonald's just because I want some French fries for a snack, and then I might stop by the corner store and get myself a little soda, and if you're that person every day, this is going to be tough for you. This is going to be a tough look in the mirror. But the thing is, it needs to happen so that you don't take those habits into your business, because a little leak will sink a great big ship. So just remember, taking a look in the mirror now can prevent you a lot of heartache later. Okay. So let's talk about establishing income goals. Okay. Setting goals is a great way to stay on track with your revenue generating efforts, great way to keep you focused. Make sure you're asking every client if they need to take home retail, suggesting retail, and all those types of things, right? And so we have to do a little projecting. This again is why it's really good to see what it is you're already living on, right? So say you need to make $75,000 a year. Okay, that's your annual income goal. We're going to say 75,000 divided by 50 weeks, because we're going to assume that you're going to take 2 weeks off for vacation somewhere within the year. Okay, so 75,000 divided by 50 weeks, and then we're going to divide that by 4 days a week, because you don't really want to be here 5 days, and you know you have other things to do. You're willing to work longer hours, so you're good with that. So the 75,000 divided by 50 weeks is 1,500. So that's $1,500 a week divided by 4 gives us $375 a day. Okay. Now, let's keep in mind that that $75,000 has to feed your household and the business itself. So in actuality, you're only going to be living on about 37,500 of those dollars. Okay, the other $37,500 is going to go back into the business. Okay, and that's just an approximation. How you spend your money is how you spend your money. Okay, but I can't remind you enough that you have to I lost myself. You have to be able to cover your personal and business expenses with your annual income goal. So just that, keep that in mind. That's what I got lost there for a second. That's what I was trying to say. Okay. Also, knowing this and being able to stand in front of your client or talk confidently to someone who's trying to get you to lower your prices or trying to manipulate you into giving them a discount or trying to make you feel bad about your prices. This helps you feel confident. Like, no, I have to make $75,000 so that my family can go on our 2-week vacation. I have to make $75,000. I have to see $375 today. I have to see that $1,500 this week. I don't have time for you and haggling. I don't have time for that. You know that you have hashed out your prices. Your prices are set so that you can reach your income goals. You have been doing your continued education so that you know you are worth the investment. You've made the investment in yourself, and this for your client is an investment in themselves, and you are worth that investment. Okay, so doing this math and taking a look back at what you've already been doing, creating a budget, setting your income goals, all that's going to make you far more confident in business than just guesstimating and throwing up some random number. Okay. Next, you're going to want to establish what's called a financial dream team. Now, all of these people are going to have a fee attached to them. So if that is not initially in your budget, that's okay. Don't panic. Oh my God, I can't. Don't panic. It's okay. Okay. We're going to talk about who I think is the most important person on this list to have in your immediate network. And then remember that there's a lot of software available that can do the jobs that these other people do. Okay, so let's look at it. A bookkeeper, an accountant, a financial counselor, a personal banker, and an insurance agent. Okay, these are people that should all be in your network. To me, though, a financial counselor is probably the most valuable member of the team. That's because your relationship is so much more intimate. They're going to help you understand a lot of what an accountant says is going to go over your head, a bookkeeper too, your insurance agent, because they're using their industry jargon, which nobody really understands. But a financial counselor is talking to you. They are accustomed to working with human beings who speak regular human being, and they're going to relate to you where you're at. They're here to help you understand your basic finances, right? Now, understand this. The term financial counselor isn't regulated, but there's a specific accreditation you can look for, and that you should look for when you're looking for a financial counselor. And that certification is through the Accredited Financial Counselors, the Association for Financial Counselors in Planning Education. Okay, and it's called the Accredited Financial Counselor Certification. What this means is that your counselor has over 1,000 hours of financial counseling experience, so you will know that you are not their first go round, right? And that they have also passed the AFC exam. Specifically, they're going to help you understand your basic financials, like I said. They're going to help you with managing debt, credit card debt, student loans, whatever it is. They're here to help you manage that debt, get it to a minimum. That being said, they're also going to help you understand your credit score and how those two things work hand in hand, your debt and your credit score. They're going to help you learn to manage your money and come up with realistic financial goals and create strategies to work toward them that are realistic and attainable. They're going to help you understand how your money plays in your personal relationships and your personal self-esteem. And that's a big deal. Like, given our divorce rate in this country and the fact that the divorce rate is largely what it is because of money, I think it's very, very, very important to have a relationship with somebody who can help you understand your feelings about money and feelings that you don't even know are there, and why certain things with money trigger you. Okay? They're going to figure out if you're eligible for certain tax credits and if you're eligible for certain public assistance. Okay, this is why I say the financial counselor is probably the most valuable person on the list. You're definitely going to need to have an insurance agent as well. However, you don't have to have a personal banker. That can just be somebody that you're a little more cool with than the regular teller that you see. And an accountant, you can use QuickBooks, because if it's just you don't have payroll, your taxes are going to be really, really easy. So again, financial counselor, I can't stress to you enough the importance of this particular relationship, okay? Uh-oh. Paying taxes. We Most of us know what this paperwork is. This is tax paperwork, okay? Paying taxes on revenue earned from your booth rental business is a requirement. You have to do it. The reason you have to do it is because eventually you're going to want to buy something like a house or a car, and you are going to need to show on paper that you make enough money to cover the cost of the loan, okay? So it's a requirement of the IRS and other entities that you will encounter who need to know that you are good for the money, okay? So if you want to buy a house in particular, you are going to need to provide 3 years of tax returns to the mortgage lender. Okay, so you're going to want to make sure that all the revenue from your services, products sold, and tips received are reported, because on paper you need to look like you're making that money. Okay, don't worry about having to pay taxes, because you should be putting that away. That should be budgeted in. Taking out that money for taxes every month or every time you pay yourself, putting that aside. That shouldn't be that your biggest concern. Plus, being a small business, there's a lot of tax breaks that you're eligible for. Okay, make sure you are reporting all of your revenue so that you can move forward with your financial and life goals, okay? Remember, there's no reason to be afraid of the IRS. Yes, they are a very large entity and you are a very small business. That's okay. Like I said, there are some great tax advantages. And as long as you are budgeting in your tax payments, then you should be fine with nothing to fear. This is where the help of an actual accountant, like a real human being that isn't software, would be helpful, just so that you can get some verbal reassurance that you're doing the right thing. They're telling you, yes, this is the tax law. Yes, this is what you need to be putting away. I have listed some resources for you within the assignment. So if you are looking for an accountant or a financial counselor, those are actually listed here, okay? But just remember, there's a lot of things that can be written off for your business that'll bring down your taxable income. So again, that's another good reason to work with an accountant. Okay, so thinking about retirement might seem like something you have a lot of time to think about. And you do, in the sense that you have a lot of time to think about how you want to spend your retirement dollars. However, you do not have a lot of time to start saving, okay? And remember, as an independent, it's nobody's responsibility but your own to plan and save for retirement. So understand, the right time to start saving for retirement is the moment you start receiving money. Okay, whether you are still employed at a salon, whether you haven't even gone through beauty school and you're working at some place that has nothing to do with this industry, whatever, if you are getting a paycheck, you need to be actively saving for retirement. Okay, it's just better that the earlier that you start. The younger a person is when they start saving for retirement, the longer you have for your money to mature. Okay, so we're going to go through two scenarios. We're going to use me as an example. If I had started saving money 10 years ago when I was 25 years old and started saving $250 a month, which is roughly $3,000 a year, okay? If I went and got myself a tax-deferred retirement account with about an 8% interest annual return, and I paid into that for 10 years. So this would be the last year that I was paying into that, because now I'm 35, real life, true story. Okay, so I pay into that $250 a month for 10 years. Then for the next 30 years, up until I'm 65, I don't touch it. I don't take anything from it. I don't add anything else to it. In 30 years, I will have $472,000. That is not what I did. I started saving for retirement last year when I was 34. And it wasn't $250 a month. Okay, so say for instance, I at 35 today did start saving $250 a month in the same type of account with the same interest rate. I would, I would, I'm sorry, I lost myself. If I started saving now, $250 a month in the same type of account with the same interest rate for the next 30 years. So until I'm 65, the same amount of time, but I'm not getting those 10 years, right? In in the 30 years, I will have contributed $90,000 to this account, and with the 8% interest rate, the account would have grown to $367,000. Now, $367,000, it's a lot of money. It's not enough, but it's a lot of money. And it definitely hurts to see that the 10-year difference made a $105,000 difference in my retirement savings. So I legit look at this and I'm like, I am $105,000 in the hole, right? And this is something that a lot of people are completely oblivious to, and nobody takes the time to tell you when you begin making money, hey, you might want to put some of that away for when you're old. Nobody nobody tells you that. People just assume because we don't talk about money in our society, right? So in this assignment, there's a chart with a financial checklist broken down by how often a task should be completed, whether it's daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, or yearly, okay? You need to start keeping those records now using your workbook. There's a space at the top of the week view. So above each day of the week, there is a space created for you to record your service sales, your retail sales, and your tips. Okay. And then on the calendar view, there is a monthly checklist of things that you need to do for the month as well. Okay. So just know, give yourself a pat on the back. You learned a lot in this lecture. But before we go, we just want to reiterate a few things and make sure they're really, really, really in your brain. Know that your personal expenses are going to directly affect your business and the amount of revenue it will create. It's going to take to create your ideal lifestyle. So remember to do the math first when you're setting your prices. Think about how much money you need to make each day, how many hours you plan to work each day, how many days a week you want to work, and also how long do your primary services take. Maybe you don't pay attention to that. I'm telling you that you should. Pay attention to how long your services take so that they're appropriately priced. And also, remember to include any overhead associated with the services like color and developer costs. All right. Remember to keep consistent and thorough records of your finances so that you are sure to report all of your income to the IRS accurately. Be sure that you're saving for retirement as soon as you possibly can. Build it into your budget. You can easily go visit your local credit union or bank if you prefer and open a Roth IRA account. Okay, so just those last little nuggets, I wanted to reiterate those. Thanks again for letting us walk with you on this journey. I hope this information was valuable. Now, what you want to do is check out the information in the charts in this assignment and follow up in your workbook. All right, and be sure to bring any questions that you have to the group. All right, see you.